Remember the kicker that played for Kansas City that had such controversial comments when he was addressing a private college at their commencement speech? Well, guess what? He is now the highest paid kicker in the history of the NFL, which is basically telling you that you don't always have to compromise your values just to make sure that you make other people feel good, especially when you're not doing nothing wrong. Let's rock out.
This morning, Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker has made history just months after coming under fire for polarizing comments.
That is now 9 consecutive makes from outside 50 for Butker.
The team and its veteran kicker, who helped propel the Chiefs to Super Bowl champions, have reached a deal on a 4-year contract extension worth nearly $26 million, the largest contract ever for an NFL kicker. Butker made waves back in May with his commencement speech at a Catholic school in Kansas, addressing the female graduates.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
He also referred to Pride Month as a deadly sin.
Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride.
The crowd giving Butker a standing ovation. Many critics called for the Chiefs to release him, but Patrick Mahomes and coach Andy Reid quickly defended Butker's right to his opinions. Butker isn't the only Chief making headlines. Wide receiver Rashee Rice reportedly got into a scuffle at training camp yesterday, throwing the ball at a linebacker. He's facing criminal charges after he and a former college teammate were involved in this multi-vehicle hit-and-run crash in Dallas in March.
So the point is that you don't always have to compromise your values to think that you get into a bag or think that you're missing out on a bag. When you are great at what you do, and when you stand up for truth and you're not interdependent on other people in order to validate you, sometimes, most times, God will be a fence. And if you are the best kicker in the NFL, it's a good chance that you're going to be the highest paid one at that. So let me give a round of applause and a congratulations for that. Shout out to him. I'm going to read that super chat shortly, Les. Also on top of that, brokers over in New York is now trying to work on a deal with Uber and Lyft in order to end the lockouts. A lot of y'all not familiar with lockouts, but take a look.
Well, it's being touted as a victory, a deal reached between Uber and Lyft in New York City to reduce the lockouts that drivers face on these popular ride-sharing apps. But the union representing those drivers is not celebrating.
Yes, Fox 5's Teresa Priolo tells us the head of the union going so far as to call it a phony deal.
The biggest issue is job security.
It used to be driving for Uber and Lyft was a solid side hustle or money-making gig, a dependable way to support your family. But now drivers say it is anything but.
Right now it seems like they turn it off whenever they want, and then if it's not, then you got to go home, or if it's not favorable at the time.
Rideshare drivers have been dealing with company lockouts since June, a way they say for Uber and Lyft to take advantage of a TLC loophole that requires minimum pay even when idling. Instead of paying, the app locks them out, and often the apps lock out together, like we saw tonight.
So before it used to be like Uber, they lock you off, then you turn left hand. You pick up, you compensate the time, you wasted with Uber. But now, like yesterday morning, I woke up, both of them, they're not working. The
TLC and the city announced Wednesday they're phasing out the lockouts as long as Lyft maintains an annual utilization rate of at least 50%.
This is a pathway for them to the middle class, and it allows them to continue to work. This is a deal that provides relief and provides more money in their pockets immediately.
But the union representing the drivers calls it phony.
There's nothing real here. The Uber lockouts are actually still going to continue. Lyft lockouts are likely to intensify. Both companies are going to get away with not having paid drivers properly during all these months throughout the year.
We reached out to Uber and Lyft. Lyft responded, quote, Lyft supports an environment that allows New York City drivers to earn whenever and however they want while driving on the Lyft platform. In talking with the union, they tell us if these lockouts don't end, they're willing to go on strike.
I never understood the idea of how you can unionize gig work. Honest to God, Like, I know over in New York, they did the same thing that California did, except for how they played it was California made sure that they raised minimum wage for fast food workers past $20 an hour. New York did the same thing, except for they did it with gig workers. Gig workers are literally 1099 contractors. But over in New York, they then unionized, and they got to a point to where they was trying to basically force Uber and Lyft to pay them as employees. Why would I want to be paid as an employee, and why would I want to be unionized? Doesn't make sense. I'm going to be honest with you. Why am I not looking at this anything other than a side hustle or an opportunity to be able to leverage it if you want to get a bunch of black cars to make a whole bunch of money? I don't understand how people think. I don't understand how people even make a lifetime out of a career out of a hustle. When I went into some of these places that I've worked at in my lifetime in the past when I was much, much younger, I was thinking to myself, I don't care about y'all bargaining and all of this stuff. Honest to God, I never cared. You know why? Because I never expected to be there that long. I never expected to be there that long. I never expected to make a career out of a hustle. Or if I was going to do so, I was going to figure out how to get the money out of it and then leverage it in order to make, get a bigger bag somewhere or whatever like that. The market is going to determine your rate. I never, ever cared about trying to unionize or be a part of your crew. I was okay with doing sales, 100% commission, because if I was going to eat that's what this is. You eat what you kill. How good you are as an entertainer. Listen, people all the time, they say stuff like, oh man, ain't no more money in podcasting. Ain't no more money in content creation. They not giving out a bag and all of this stuff. Pfft. If you're a part of my Patreon and you see my deposits, you'll be like, Anton is more and more profitable every single year. Anton is more and more profitable every single year. We going after new sponsors right now. Just developed a new media kit over the weekend going after new sponsors, and they are responding. You know what they respond to? Numbers. That's what they respond to. You do over 100 million views and millions of hours of watch time across multiple different platforms, the negotiations is different. It's not that it's oversaturated. It may be, but the cream is going to rise to the top. And so I don't really care how many I don't care how many NBA players jump in. I don't care who famous start a podcast. I heard that Michelle Obama was supposed to start one. Meghan Markle was supposed to start one. I see people flame out every single day. Young, old, famous, not famous. Podcasts be trash. Skip Bayless started a podcast on his own, and that junk was garbage, trash. If you good, the market is going to respond to you. And if you see competition, you're going to have to make adjustments and get better. You eat what you kill. That's what true capitalism is. That's what this is. If we don't stream, if we don't take care of business, if we don't put out great content, if we're not great at what we do, then the people are not going to respond to it. It's a reason why people rock with us on a daily basis. Ain't nobody trying to unionize and be a part of y'all. I don't even want to be limited. I don't want to be limited on how much money I can make by then being forced to apply based off of the rules that you are trying to run in the Victim Olympics and get diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm good. And then last but not least, the Oakland A's share their portion of the Coliseum to an African-American investment group. Check it out.
The Oakland A's announced the tentative sale of their share of the Coliseum to the African-American Sports and Entertainment Group.
Now, the price tag, $125 million, which is more than the recent deal made with the city of Oakland. NBC Bay Area's Ginger Conejero-Saab live for us this morning with the details. And Ginger, how does this all break down for us?
Well, good morning, Marcus and Laura. As you mentioned there, the Oakland A's are making that announcement this morning that it has reached a deal to sell its share of the Coliseum to the African-American Sports and Entertainment Group for $125 million. It comes just days after the same group, the African-American Sports and Entertainment Group, reached a deal with the city of Oakland to sell its share of the Coliseum for $105 million. That's $20 million less than what the A's will be getting. The Oakland Police Officers Association Association, very quick to respond to the terms of the sale, saying in part, quote, today's announcement by the Oakland A's of the tentative sale of its portion of the Coliseum property should be a moment for reflection that our city has lost its last professional sports team. It should also be noted that the A's got $20 million more for their half of the property than Mayor Sheng Tao's sale of the city's half portion.
Jesus.
Mayor Sheng Tao is simply kicking the...
Hey, the Oakland Police Officers Association is throwing, they throwing down, ain't they? They not taking no prisoners. They're not taking no prisoners.
Can down the road and fiddling as Oakland burns from crime, disorder, and an epic economic failure under her leadership and the council majority. End quote. Now, the terms of the payment have not yet been reached. That is according to the founder of the African American Sports and Entertainment Group, Ray Bobbitt. He shares he is excited to move forward with what he calls a critical piece to the revitalization of East Oakland. He explains why the AASEG is paying $20 million more to the A's than it is to the city.
That's different from the city because the A's spent, as you know, their disposition agreement when they purchased the site from the county in 2019 required that they pay up to $5 million in over and above operating expenses. And so we also were able to buy the due diligence that they did and some of the other work product that they had when they were making their purchase. So it actually worked out to offset what they had spent.
Now, also this morning, A's president Dave Cavall releasing his statement saying he is pleased to reach a deal with the AASEG. He goes on to say in part, quote, AASEG has a community-oriented vision for the long-term development of the site and will be strong stewards of the property. Their leadership and development provide substantial opportunities and benefits for East Oakland and the broader Oakland community. Now, the A's bought their share of the Coliseum for $85 million back in 2019. This is now what they're selling it at, $125 million. And the next steps for this part of the sale for Oakland Coliseum, the next steps for this will be to go to the Alameda County Board of Supervisors for their approval. And that is when we can see the next steps moving forward. In San Francisco, Ginger Conejero-Saab, NBC Bay Area News.
So basically, the city got fleeced again. It really doesn't matter because Oakland is in a doom loop and they don't even have the economic activity in that city in order to survive anyway. It's a kick the can down the road mentality because just because you get a one-time payment does not mean that you're going to fill the budget holes that are to come in the future. And it's messed up. It is absolutely messed up. It's tore down over in Oakland. Honest to God, I just really feel bad. I really feel bad about the people that live in Oakland and how bad that city has been managed. But then at the same time, I don't feel bad because y'all been voting into this stuff to where y'all have to suffer from the results of y'all decisions for a long time anyway. So it's almost like a double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is your Quick Hits.